Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Just ahead of Craig Button, we're waiting on Craig. Our guest today brought to you by the Waddling Dog Pub, located 10 minutes from the ferry terminal. The Waddling Dog Pub is the place to be to catch every Canucks game with one of their 19 taps of both domestic and locally crafted beer, wine, and cider, not just beer, Rick. A daily happy hour from 4 to 6, brunch from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., and a fully stocked liquor store attached. There are countless reasons to come, sit, and stay, and breathe heavy at the Waddling Dog. You good there?
Who's breathing heavy?
I thought I heard a little Darth Vader there.
No.
No? Nothing?
No.
We got Craig yet? Not yet. No. We'll get Craig's opinion on when they're. We'll get him to answer this question. When's the right time to pull a goalie? If you're just tuning in, Ryan, Rick, and I have been discussing Bruce Boudreau's move to pull Jaroslav Halak after the 6th goal last night in the 7-2 loss, the Canuck loss to the Devils. You and I feel that was the right move. Maybe even
6-1.
Pulling him a little earlier would have been maybe a better move. And Ryan says, like a lot of people in the inbox, says, hey, keep him in there, give Demko a complete game's rest. But as it was, he gets pulled. Demko has to come in and do some work.
It wasn't a controversial yank. It was like not.
Well, for some people, it was. For some people,
not that he did it after two goals.
There are controversial yanks.
Hey, that's gotta be a band-aid.
Listen, get your head out of the gutter. Listen,
that has to be a band-aid.
I don't know why it was 6-1. We've seen it a million times in a 6-1 game. Like I don't know why it would be controversial. My goodness, it's not like he pulled him in a 2-1 game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, we're still waiting on Craig? Yeah. Let's do this while we're waiting. Let's run clip number 1 here. And this is, again, Bruce Boudreau talking about his team's tough start against the Devils last night in New Jersey. Here's the coach.
I don't have a theory, quite frankly. I mean, we talked about it in the morning meeting, the evening meeting, the preparation for the day. I wish I had an answer to it. I don't. I'm racked the brains over why some games we can play so good in the first period, and then other games, as in most of the year, that we've come out, if there's going to be something bad, that's going to happen in the first period.
Yeah. So true. So the Islanders on Thursday, then you've got that game against the Leafs on Saturday.
Oh, that's going to be
and the Leafs winning last night in Washington. Holding off the Capitals, who made a comeback, but obviously didn't complete it. But you think about that game Saturday against the Leafs, always a big deal. And I always think the Leafs are at a bit of a disadvantage because when teams go into Toronto on a Saturday, a lot of Canadian players, a lot of players who don't have to be Canadian, they know the history of Hockey Night in Canada. Everybody gets jacked up for a game like that. But think about what happened with the Leafs here in Vancouver. The Leafs were the better team that night.
Oh, the 50.
Demko
what was it,
steals that game.
54 shots. Demko star 1, 2, 3. Who can forget that night? Hey, last night, Donnie. So the Canucks are facing a goaltender, 21-year-old Nico Dawes. He's a third-round pick. 5 NHL games. I'm thinking going in. First of all, I had to Google the name. They're banged up in net. The Devils are. I think he's 5th or 6th on the depth chart. He's ready to go. I'll get into Nico Dawes later. Maybe Craig knows Nico Dawes.
Okay, we'll get Craig
later. Rick, he was on the World Junior team.
That's it. Yes, that's it. Yes, I know.
He started, then Joel Hoffer took over for him. He was a high draft pick. I don't think he's 6 on the depth chart. He's higher than that. He's a good young goaltender. And you have Jonathan Bernier, who's injury prone, and my good friend Doug Armstrong. You know what he always said about injury prone players?
What?
They tend to get injured.
Hey, Craig, let me before you start ripping into me, let me give you a little insight on what happens here in Vancouver. We only care about Canucks prospects. Anyways.
Well, I'm not ripping into you, Rick. The next time
I had to Google the poor kid. I had to Google the name, Craig. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Can I just tell you?
Hey, I like the fact that you Google it, number one. Number
Yeah.
two is I heard what you were saying. I jumped in. I tried to save you some reading time.
You knew Craig was next, and you could bring up Joe Slobotnik from 1978, and Craig could tell you about him. There's not a player on the planet that
Craig knows guys in the Czech Republic, every single buddy out there.
That's why he's the scouting director at TSN. Hey, Craig, we've been going on and on about this during this show today. Canucks lose 7-2 at 6-1. Bruce Boudreau pulls Jaroslav Halak. Some people feel, hey, leave him in there, give Thatcher Demko a complete game's rest. When is the right time to pull a National Hockey League goaltender?
Well, I think there's two answers to that, Donnie. Number one is if you think you have a chance to win the game. At 6-1, you don't. So that was not the right time to pull the goalie. Number two, if you think the goaltender is really being in a situation where more harm than good could happen, and there comes times and the coach has to feel that out. But last night, no way, no. Especially after those first couple of goals, you're playing back to backs. You've had a good run here, and I agree with my friend Mike Johnson. Last night was the night. Yaroslav Halak, you're going to have to finish this one. You're going to have to finish this one by yourself.
Wow.
Thatcher is sitting here. And Yaro's older. He's more mature. And you just tell him. You call him, hey, Yaro, you know what? You can't do anything about what's happened now, but you're finishing this game. End of story.
What do you think his teammates would think of that, Craig? Because in a way it seems like you're punishing him, that you're making him suffer. What about the feel of the team if you do something like that and leave him in for the whole game?
Well, I mean, the players are the ones that have to suffer with his poor goaltending. They got so you know what? So the players are in a situation where, this guy got us in the soup and now he gets to leave the game. See, that's what I would say. Yarrow, you don't get to leave because I can't. These other players can't leave, and you're the one that it would be different if you're getting outshot 40-2, right? And you're going, okay, listen, we hung you out to dry. We need to get you out of there, right? He hung the team out to dry with his poor goaltending.
Craig, thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you next week. You're completely ruining my whole argument here. You agree with Ryan Henderson. I don't like this.
Here's what I would say, Donnie. What you have just revealed about yourself is that you're a goalie hugger, and you're going to make every excuse for the goalies. I get it. There's a lot of these goalie huggers out there. I understand, but and I'm sensitive to the goaltenders at different points. Not last night. Not the way Halak played.
I'll tell you who played well. All of the New Jersey Devils. They didn't look like a team who was near the bottom of the standings. Really, really fast. A lot of very good young players led, I guess, by Nico Hischier and Jack Hughes. What's in their future, Craig?
Well, I think that it is. I think they have a good future, Donnie, and I think that they got good young players. The goaltending with Mackenzie Blackwood, I mean, that's got to get sorted out. I mean, he's been so unreliable and undependable. That's something that Tom Fitzgerald's going to have to figure out. They signed Jonathan Bernier. We talked about him having his injury woes, but they got a lot of good young players. They got a lot of different players at key positions, different types of players. So I think the future is bright for them. And, the other part of that is I like the fact that Quinn's going to have to buy the art for him and Jack's house. I love that little bet. That's a great little bet. And I hope that Jack really goes for something, rare and unique, pushes the price up a little bit for Quinn.
Craig, a little touchy subject here for you. The Canadian Hockey League might meet today. There's some speculation the CHL may ban Russian and Belarusian players from the import draft. I don't know if it's going to happen, but your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the challenges, you're talking about young players, they're not professionals. They don't have contracts coming over. So there's no contractual law that would protect them, but you don't want to prevent anybody from doing what they want to do in their dreams. But this isn't about the individuals. This is about a Russian state that has declared war on Ukraine, and so there has to be pressures applied at every turn. And yeah, I know that there's good Russian players and good Belarusian players coming over, but if this is the price that they have to pay for their state intervention and their state atrocities, then that's just what has to happen. And, is it going to be right that we're going to have to pay more in gas because the prices are going to go up? Is there going to be more because there's going to be more pain like in our economy? Forget about no, wrong way to put it. What people in Ukraine are going through, we're talking life and death here. Like, these are the things that as a nation state, people have to pay for. And my friend Slava Malamud, and I call him a friend, said it best. He goes, I love the Russian people. I do not like the Russian state, but people are going to have to pay a price for the actions of the Russian state. That's how I feel about it. I don't find it sensitive. I don't have any sympathy for Alexander Ovechkin. He made his bed with Putin. He supported Putin, and now he's going to – and he had a chance to say, hey, I was wrong. And now he's going to come out and cry. Artemi Panarin and those guys, I have a lot of sympathies for. Alexander Ovechkin, no way. You are a supporter of a tyrant. I got no time for you. But he's a great hockey player.
Yeah. But, Craig, can you understand where he's coming from, not family in Russia?
Why did he support Putin then? I'll tell you how he could have avoided it. Don't support a tyrant. Hey, Donnie, 8 years ago, he invaded Crimea. He took over Crimea, right? You're supporting a tyrant. Now you're going to say, oh, my family? Hey, Alex, you made your bed. So, no, I don't. I don't want to see any harm done. Don't get me wrong here. But Alexander Ovechkin made his bed.
Craig, one more. Hard to make a turn from that. But 7-2 last night, Canucks lose. Since the All-Star break, there have been 15 times when NHL teams have scored 7 goals or more. Isn't this the time of year when teams are supposed to buckle down?
You know what? We can never be happy, Donnie.
It's fun. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Yeah.
No, I know. But we're either complaining about not enough goals, or we're complaining might not be right. But we're talking about different points in time, right? I think about some high-scoring games, and you think, oh boy, those are fun, and sometimes they're not so fun. And we talk about low-scoring games, and they're not so fun. But sometimes low-scoring games are great because of the chances and the goaltending. But I also think too, Donnie and Rick, is that the honing of your game, team-wise, individual-wise, there's fissures in it because of the gaps in the play, because of fatigue and different challenges that are going on. So I think that's led to some of these high-scoring games as well. And I think in time, because remember, the schedule is going to be extended. I don't know if this is really the time. We might have to extend this time to 3 weeks down the road and evaluating at that point in time.
You know what? Earlier in this segment, I didn't think you were that strong. We were going to pull you. We were going to end the segment. We kept you in there, and you came through big. So maybe you are right. Maybe the Canucks should have kept Halak in there. This is proof right here. Thanks for this, Craig.
Hey, Craig.
Thanks.
Craig, yes. I'm gonna do some research on all the Devils prospects. I'm going to make sure I know all the Devils prospects. So next time I'm coming at you with the Devils prospects, you better know them all.
I will try my best. I will do this, though, Rick. I will guarantee you this. If I don't know, I'll have my finger quick on the Google.
That's all you got to do. What is it? Double D database. Craig, the database site is so good.
Yeah, hockey database. Yeah. Rick, not Double D database.
Or database.
That's a whole other database. Craig, great as always. Thanks, Craig.
Yeah, have a great day. Thank you.
You bet.